Hi. So I have a read here on Kim Jong-Un. And I feel a little weird reading on a conspiracy theory. I have like mixed feelings on that. I do believe conspiracies happen. Like, of course, the Russians really did conspire to destroy Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election and get Donald Trump elected, and that's real and that happened. So like I do believe, but I also like ironically Russia also used conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton to confuse people and wear them out and make them paranoid and all that. So I don't, I think a lot of conspiracy theories can be like these sort of rabbit holes that are meant to distract from real life. But I just like, this is for entertainment. We're not too tied to what's going on in North Korea. I just got curious because Kim Jong-un made an appearance and seemed to be perfectly fine after a lot of news outlets had heard that he's very sick. And like I watched the footage, or I watched what it is that the state TV released this footage. Like they don't have any other kind of media out there to say whether this really happened or not. Like some people think, is it a body double they used? And that's actually what I read on initially, but I've watched it and I think it's more likely that it's old footage or different kinds of footage put together. I mean, again, that's if it's not really him. That seems a little more right to me. That it would, yeah. Even I watched it on like a BBC World News shared it and even said it's difficult to verify the footage from the secretive state, North Korea. This is just according to North Korean media, which of course you watch it and it's very theatrical and seems very, it's like pure propaganda. And it's nothing like, I think Fox News has a little bit of that flavor, but it's really nothing like normal news. It's weird. So on Twitter, there's lots of like people thinking body double, and I know that there's a thing on his arm that looks like it could be surgery, but that could still be footage from a different time. I'm sure they've given him different ways of treating his heart condition. And like they're very secretive, they're very fake. They are saying now they have 0 cases of coronavirus and all that. Some people say the fact that he would go to a fertilizer plant on his first appearance after all that time seems really off also. So maybe they just kind of had that footage. I don't know. I decided to just for fun do a read on it, and I thought I got a really interesting read, and so I thought I would share it with you guys. So the question I asked, and I was a little bit, I pulled these cards yesterday, and I was a little more on the thought of a body double, but now I'm a little more on that it would be a little more logical that, I don't know, maybe there's a combination. Because as crazy as a body double sounds, it's really, for a dictator like that, it wouldn't be that crazy to have someone to stand in for him here and there, especially if he's got health issues. But I also think there's a lot you can do with old footage and putting things together. So anyway, the first card I get is Queen of Swords, covered by a Knight of Pentacles. So the first thing I thought is, oh my gosh, this would be the sister. She is now the sister who would be, the head, the new ruler, if her brother was not able to do his job. And I almost think that's already there. But it is covered by the Knight of Pentacles. Now, when I looked at this yesterday, I thought, oh my gosh, that's the body double. Now I think, maybe. But I also think it could be his own condition that Kim Jong-un is now less, his status would have been lowered because of the illness to not have as much to offer. I almost wonder if he's, I look at that pentacle like if you think of being in the hospital and you have sort of your heartbeat or something like that, that's sort of still there, something like that. But that there isn't, he's no longer this king or emperor figure, that he has sort of become smaller and she has become bigger. But they are still choosing, because she's still like covered by him, they are still choosing to portray him over her. So at the surface, I see, a lot of times this card would be sort of fighting off news reports, which that could be. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? The sort of pressure. I also see, and I feel when I look at this, the fixation I'm guessing that they have on territory, because I'm really drawn to like this guy's feet on the land. Like they are very territorial, and that's a big part of what they're fighting for on the surface. And like in the past, we have the sun card, which is really interesting because, first of all, the sun, as the male heir to the throne, the sun. Also, this would be the vitality, and this being in the past position. And also, the grandfather was called Kim Il-sung, S-U-N-G, but I believe that they consider him to be sort of a, sun god. I mean, that's wrong, but, like some great spirit of the sun, that is a part of the legacy that he comes from. And so I feel like, and also the reason that people started questioning what's wrong with him is that he didn't show up to his grandfather's anniversary celebrations a few weeks ago, which is like unheard of. And so that started the speculation. So like this is all sort of, and then what I see here is like, because he missed that, and because of this legacy that they are trying to keep alive, and for some reason they must not think that the daughter will have the power to basically, I see this as bringing in money that they need brought in. Like that, did they put this footage out there so that people who give, because of the legacy, and it, like you think of it like in a cult leader sort of way, if they believe that this son, the grandfather, has passed on that godliness to his son and then the son before, that there are people who give money to the government, which is therefore the family, all of that, like in honor, so maybe they needed to do an appearance to get sort of, I don't know if there's like a yearly, maybe the anniversary, a lot of people give a lot of money, and maybe there's like a hold up on that. But I do also think this could be also watching his, like his heartbeat, his blood pressure, all of these things that they might be watching if Kim Jong-Un is still sick and in bed or whatever. And the reason I also think that could be a possibility is that I have this card, this upside down Two of Swords, which personally, when I look at it, it makes me feel disoriented that it's upside down like that. It makes me think, is he unconscious? I know this is all crazy in a way, and like, everything could be totally normal and I'm like making a fool of myself, but I'm just sharing this read because I found it interesting. And, in the past I would have just kept it all to myself, but I might as well put it out there. It's kind of interesting. Normally, so this card would be just taking more time, but the fact that it's upside down made me feel like unconscious or like confused. Like it's confused, it's dizzy, it's possibly just still maybe unconscious. And I do think that the only reason, if they started to bring out a body double or these or trying to put him out there even though he's not at full capacity, it would be because he's really still like maybe they're keeping him alive with machines or something like that, and that justifies them doing, saying he's still alive. And this also, along with this, says to me like that if I'm reading on him and I get this card and reading on if he's well, was how well or unwell is he, and this would tell me that he's not well. Like, physically, maybe he just really is under. And even like the blindfold could be saying there is some sort of brain situations, neurological, or just under, or just unable, like that he's actually not able to go out. Here we see the fighting. That makes perfect sense within the government. I'm sure there's plenty of fighting. If any of this is true, then they would be fighting over how to handle it. The hopes and fears, yes, they would be hoping that if he gets, maybe he just needs more rest. I mean, if they really believe that he has got some kind of special powers as a special person, the way they do in that country, they might believe he's going to come out of this, might believe in a miracle. And then the fear being that he won't, that he will stay as is. But I see the plan as just to keep going and, creating more of these sorts of events to keep the impression going that he's, more of these sort of televised events where he's out there. Yeah. Because I don't know what else this card would be telling us. I think that's sort of the plan. And so at the moment that I did that, I looked at the base. Okay, so I looked at the base of the deck at that point, and it was this. So it's like 10 of Swords. I mean, that's the end. I mean, you put these two together, this, unconscious, the fact that we get the Queen of Swords as the first, like, how is he doing? Queen of Swords, she's in charge. And I think she might be down with the plan to keep him alive on the surface in order to protect the land, in order to keep, the legacy and the money coming in. But I get this, and then I want to say that these two cards were right behind it, so I've decided to include these two because it felt like they were together. Yeah, and this, naturally the anxiety in the middle of the night, like, it's terrible for them what has happened. And the illusion delusion card, which is what we're talking about here. Are they putting out footage to create an illusion and a delusion? These cards would say yes. I mean, these cards being beneath the entire spread, that would be the secret there. And then I added 2 cards to this to get clarity. And it definitely validates what well, at first I thought maybe they were going to make a statement. That's what the first thing I thought. But now I think that it might just be more like, just focus on creating the next televised thing. And then I get it with this card, which upside would be like, yay, celebrations. But it's just like that upside down fake celebration, which if you watch the footage, it definitely, so it would be those in charge who maybe do know this secret, if I'm right about this, that are pretending, isn't it wonderful that he's alive? And they're doing it for the sake of their, reputation on the world stage, their territorial, that they think is connected to Kim Jong-Un. I mean, I even think of like Trump just so horrible how he acts like they're friends now, which is very embarrassing for the U.S. because Kim Jong-Un is this murderous dictator. Like, we're not supposed to be friends with them, but they must feel like that's elevating them, and they want to keep that legacy alive on the world stage like that. And then I will say at the base of the deck, at that point, I have the Death card. So, and then I will say, like, the two underneath that, well, even the three underneath that I found actually interesting. Is it like telling us even more of this story? But first of all, I would say I don't think he's dead, but I think that in their long-term effort to keep him alive, I think it's possible that it could happen. And then I think that changes everything. I think they feel like it's okay as long as they still have him technically alive. But people I don't think it necessarily lasts forever. So this is saying, yeah, eventually, will he die or will that end? I feel the devastation and the pain and the sadness. The devil, who's the devil in all this? I think, when you see it next to the fool, I think that he's the devil. I think that because I think he keeps his people chained. They are chained up to him and his legacy. And I think I heard if anyone in his family tries to ever leave, then like the 4 generations of family get all killed. He keeps them all chained very tightly. And we have death. And yes, they're going to be sad because they have this idea that he's like a god sort of figure. And then, but it would be the death also of those chains. And then look at that, the fool, like a new beginning, possibly for North Korea, which is really interesting. So that's my read. Again, just putting it out there, maybe I'm wrong but I just thought the cards were so interesting in that theory that could be true. It could be fake footage they're putting out there. It could be covering up. Maybe I'm making a fool of myself, but we're just all sort of investigating in the cards just for fun. So there you have it. That's my read. Let me know if you had any thoughts on the cards or anything else. And thanks for being here for me to share my reads with, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.